Hello everyone, I'm Hui. This is week 6 presentation. Here is our group member, me, Nali, and Jiequ. Today we will present an article named Technology Enhanced Item in Grade 1 to 12 English Language Proficiency Assessment. Here is an outline of our presentation. You can just take a quick look at it. First, I will provide some background information on this study. With the advancement of computerized language testing technologies, online assessment have increasingly included technology-enhanced items, TEIS. First, let's focus on two concepts. TEIS and multiple-choice items, MCIS. TEIS are defined as items supplied via computer-based assessment that use method or media for item responses that are not available in paper format. Next, MCIS. In a traditional language test, the reading test consists of reading passage, a question, and 3 or 4 answer options. There is a table showing TEIS and MCIS for comparison. First, TEIS differ from traditional MCIS in terms of how students engage with the test interface and select responses. MCIS have limitations. Rupp et al. 2006 found that in reading test, MCIS failed to test students' comprehension ability, so the validity of this test was questioned. Also, MCIS offer a limited amount of interactivity, while TEIS offer more engagement for test takers. TEIS can enhance the authenticity of the assessment by resembling real-world tasks. The experimental part in this article involves two important concepts. First, Access for ELS is an assessment tool designed to measure the ELP of K-12 students. Since kindergarten access is administered in paper only, it's not included in this study. Second, item response theory, IRT. By using this, researchers can estimate the difficulty level of each item, so this can help to address potential issues related to content alignment between the two types of assessments. Let's move on to the second section, research questions. At first, we need to focus on research gap. There has been less research on how student performance on TEIS differ from traditional MCIS. Potential benefits such as higher efficiency of TEIS are not documented for the generalizability of this finding. Also, current study lack research on the use of TEIS, particularly in assessing language performance for younger learners. Based on the research gap, the author proposed two research questions. The first one is in terms of item complexity, discrimination, and information. How do TEIS compare to traditional MCIS? The second one is in terms of item efficiency. How do TEIS compare to traditional MCIS? Student grade 1 to 12 were the object of this research. There are 3 aims of this study. In prior study, researchers found there is no content pairing between TEIS and MCIS. So this study intends to investigate the use of content-matched MCIS and TEIS. So this study also to investigate the efficiency of using TEIS in ELP assessment and to compare the result with traditional assessment. Additionally, this study aim to help improve ELP assessment for young students. Next, we come to the next part, significance of this study. This is the first known study of content-matched TEIS and MCIS for ELP examinations in grade 1 to 12. Also, this study provides insight into design and development of more effective TEIS that can better access ELP. And this finding can also inform the development of future ELP assessment. So this is end of my part, and my group member will continue to introduce the rest of this article.
Next, I will talk about the methodology part. In this study, a total of 1,149,027 students from grade 1 to grade 12 took the ACES online reading test in 2015 to 2016 and were divided into 5 groups. In this test, each student responded to 24 to 30 operational questions, including operational and field test items. The ACES online multiple choice items and technology enhanced items consist of 3 categories, which I will present to you in the form of pictures. The first is the traditional multiple choice items, as shown below, where students need to choose the correct answer based on the sentence and the picture presentation. The second is a hotspot item, which is similar to the multiple choice item, but the options and the distractors are presented in picture form. The last one is a drag and drop item, which requires students to drag the image or text to the correct location. Next, I will discuss the 2 types of data, student test data and telemetry data. Students scored each item on the test on a dichotomous scale, meaning only right and wrong, with the average score expressed as a percentage of correct answers. And the final results showed an average score of 52.4% on the reading section and an average proficiency level of 3.57. Telemetry data is used to track in real time the user's clicks on the mouse during the activity and the pauses during the test in order to determine how much time the student spent on each test item. The next part is the results of the exercise. To examine the 2 questions separately, the researchers used 2 different methods for data analysis. The first was to study the item characteristics. The researchers performed descriptive statistics for all items in each grade level and applied 2 formulas to calculate them. Formula 1 was used in order to compare the performance of technology-enhanced items and multiple-choice items, and Formula 2 was used to test the expectation of changes in item reliability relative to human capacity. For the second research question, duration and efficiency of the items, the researchers calculated the time spent by the test takers on each item using telemetry data. Next, I will interpret the research results. Here is a table on item characteristics. There are 2 figures here, discrimination and item difficulty. Discrimination reflects the relative reliability of the item. When the higher the figure, the more reliable it is, while the higher the figure of item difficulty, the more difficult the item is. I took part of the item characteristics about grade 1 and used this as an example to provide an explanation. We use pair 1 as a comparison, and the difficulty of the hotspot is 1.19, which is significantly higher than the difficulty of multiple choice, 0.60, indicating that more students responded correctly to the multiple choice items. The figure of hotspot is also higher than multiple choice item in terms of discrimination, which proves that technology-enhanced item is more discriminative than multiple choice item in terms of content matching. This figure shows the average question difficulty for each grade group, and we can clearly see that technology-enhanced item is more difficult than multiple choice item. To examine the efficiency of the technology-enhanced item reading items, the authors analyzed telemetry data on the time test takers spent completing the test, and item efficiency was obtained by obtaining the ratio of the average information for an item type to the average item spent completing that type of item. This figure shows the average time spent on the technology-enhanced items, multiple choice items, and overall test for each grade group, and the results show that test takers spent more time on average completing the technology-enhanced items than completing the traditional multiple choice items. This figure shows the efficiency of the items for each grade group, and the results show that most technology-enhanced items are less efficient than the items corresponding to the traditional multiple choice items, except for grades 6 to 8. However, the average test items across the test were more efficient than both types of content-matched items, suggesting that item content also has an important effect on efficiency.
Hello, I'm JQ. Now let's move on to conclusion and the discussion part. Do you still remember the focus of this research? Actually, this research was to compare the effectiveness of technology-enhanced items and multiple-choice items on learners' online reading test performance. Here, technology-enhanced items and multiple-choice items are content-matched. This study included a large sample size. They are grade 1 to 12 English learners. After evaluating these 4 item characteristics, item difficulty, discrimination, information, and efficiency, the findings show that technology-enhanced items are generally more difficult than multiple-choice items. Moreover, they are more discriminative and more informative at higher grade or reading proficiency levels. But they turn out to be less efficient, or in other words, more time-consuming than multiple-choice items. Here, the increased difficulty is consistent with the findings of former studies on adult computer skills, nursing tests, math and science assessment. According to the author, the result can be explained by the novel format and presentation of items. As for the increased discrimination at higher grades, the similar findings can also be found in previous studies. It may infer that technology-enhanced items are more useful for upper grade level students who are assumed to be more familiar with the interface. However, cautions should be made to younger population, especially those lower grade levels who are not so familiar with these items. Therefore, engagement should be increased in terms of item content and item design. Finally, the lower efficiency of technology-enhanced items can also be found in previous studies as shown below. It means that technology-enhanced items need more time to accomplish than multiple-choice items. But justification is also given here. Maybe test takers need more time to figure out the novel interfaces. Now let's move on to limitations and their suggestions. As mentioned by the author, the current study has 3 limitations. The first one is the small number of items. The second one is that this study did not perform multi-level modeling. Finally, since this is the first year of online administration, novelty can be a factor to affect the item efficiency. Here are some suggestions for future research. As technology-enhanced items are less efficient than multiple-choice items, future studies could explore the reason for increased duration. Also, more systematic investigation of the impact of item design on item performance could be conducted. What's more, larger item pools could also be included in future studies. Finally, longitudinal analysis to determine whether the novelty effect disappears after students become familiar with the item format is also encouraged. Now, let me analyze this article critically. The abstract is very concise and clear. Besides, the literature review has thoroughly analyzed previous studies. Research questions are well structured and easy to answer. Finally, the discussion and the conclusion part have well justified the results by comparing them with previous findings. However, this study also has some weaknesses. First of all, the article lacked detailed description of test takers. Here, we just know the grade level of test takers. No other information like their age, English proficiency level, background is given. In addition, this article only selected some samples of technology-enhanced items. There's not a complete sample of online access reading tests. Therefore, for future researchers who want to reproduce this study may not find this article very helpful. Last but not least, this study only used quantitative methods to collect data. It would be better to use the qualitative method like conducting an interview or a questionnaire after the test to learn about test takers' attitudes, or testing experience. Here is the reference. Now let's move on to discussion. So this research has compared traditional multiple choice items and technology-enhanced items in an online reading test. If you are a test developer, which items will you choose? Why?